Hey everybody, Thomas Shirley here with Throne Builders and continuing our series on the revolution that we are in the midst of right now. The greatest revolution in the history of planet Earth, in my opinion, even greater than what the early church experienced in the first century. And I hope that you'll take the time to look through each of the teachings that I've been doing on this series, just trying to provoke some thought and get people to think differently. I understand that people struggle with some of the things that I say, and because I know that's true, you're really going to struggle with some of the stuff that I say today, but I want you to take it in and just trust that the Heavenly Father knows exactly how to guide us and lead us. I want to talk today about a revolution of elevation. A lot of times people will say to me, I'll read things or hear people say, I can do nothing without God. And I understand that there's a text that Jesus took out where he said, without me you can do nothing. But he was actually referring to the reality of fulfilling the righteousness of the law, something that the Hebrew people were very conscious of, something that was very important to them. He was not saying that humanity is incapable of accomplishing great feats and doing amazing things and impossible things. Let me give you a little bit of context. Jesus was speaking into the generation of his day that was coming through a transition, leaving the Old Testament law of Moses and transitioning into the age of the kingdom. And when he spoke to the people in his day, everything had the context of the old was passing away and the new was coming forth. That was the whole context of what he was speaking into. Everything had a very specific cultural relevance to the people that he was talking to. And to the people of his day, it was extremely important that they be found righteous before God, that they were living in holiness, that they were acceptable. Because the entire purpose and influence of the law was simply to show people, you're filthy. I mean, when a child was born, the child was impure. There was a purification process. When a mother gave birth, it was impure. There was a purification process. When somebody went potty, poo-poo or pee-pee, there was a purification process. I mean, everything in the law was geared toward showing people that, listen, you are absolutely unclean. Now, I have some questions about that. I have some things that I'll be teaching about later on down the line as God gives me liberty to do so. But suffice it to say that the people of Jesus' day were very concerned about obeying the law. So when Jesus said, without me you can do nothing, what he was saying was, I came to fulfill the law. I came to take care of the thing that is keeping you from connecting with the Father. Because the Hebrew people were sin conscious. Everything in their being, their understanding had to do with the fact that they were sinners. Why? Because that's what the law taught. Jesus came to do away with that concept, not to eliminate the law as in take it out of the way so that it had no bearing or context. Instead, he came to fulfill the law, and by his Spirit living inside of each of us, he fulfills the law through us. And the righteousness that is his is actually ours. We are called the righteousness of God. We're also called the wisdom of God. So today I want to just briefly touch on this idea of a revolution of elevation. Listen, God has already elevated you. God has already taken away the sin. God has already taken away the barriers and the limitations. He's already given you all that he is. Ephesians chapter 1 verses 17 through 23 talks about how that God has taken humanity and elevated us in the last Adam, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, elevated us into the position of authority and victory, and has seated us in the heavenly places, far above all the nonsense, far above all the principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. By the way, all four of those are references to the religious system of the day and the hierarchy within the temple system. It had nothing to do with what we're commonly taught as demons. But it says in verse 23 that the church is his body, the fullness of him that fills all in all. In other words, you and I, corporately throughout the earth, we are the fullness of him on earth. We are the ones that represent him. We are the gods that are here as him, one with him. What does it say? As he is in the world, so are we. What is he saying? See, we have a hard time simplifying things and bringing them down to what's actually being said. What Jesus is saying is, you are me in the world. That's why he said, I am the light of the world. Jesus said that. And then he turned around and said, now you are the light of the world. Let your light so shine. He said that you are the salt. vault. He said that you have the keys, and that you are the kings and priests, that you are the rulers and reigners in this day. You've already been elevated. What's happening right now is there's an old school theology that we can do nothing, we're dirty, we're rotten, we're sinners, God just tolerates us. Listen, God doesn't tolerate you. God's passionate about you. He could no more stop being passionate about you than he could stop being passionate about himself, because you have been made one with him. You are one spirit with the Lord. You are completely equal with him in that he has made you a part of himself. He did away with the first Adam and raised you up in the last Adam. There is a revolution right now of showing people that they're no longer bound by the chains of sin or religion, but instead that they've already been included and elevated and brought up into the fullness of everything that God desires for humanity to experience. There is no boundary set upon you, and there is no separation between you and your success, because your success is in who you are, and who you are is in him, because you were raised up in him 2,000 years ago when the Son of God came back from death. This is a revolution of elevation. The idea and mindset that we need to now continue to teach sin and pull people down and tell them that God is angry, God's doing away with that, because that's no longer true. This revolution that we're in is going to cause people to recognize they have value and worth. And some knucklehead will put in the comments below, "Oh, this is New Age." The only thing that the New Age movement is it is people understanding that religion has limited and defiled the glory of humanity, because Jesus has made us in his own image. And they understand that. The problem is they disconnect it from the fullness of what Christ did for us. So you might say it's New Age, but I give glory to Christ, because he's the one that raised us up, and he gets all the honor in this, because without him, we would be in desperate need of tremendous help. But he's already helped us and given us all things. So in this revolution of elevation, allow yourself to rise up to who you truly are, to rise up into sonship, to be the thing that God has ordained you to be, and that is his presence in the earth. So I hope you're blessed by this series. I look forward to your comments below. I also would be so excited if you would click on our Patreon link below and sign up with a monthly contribution of $5. That's all we're asking. It'd be a big help to us as we continue to expand our library, getting ready to release a whole series on our website here in the next couple of months as we're putting things together right now. So look forward to your comments. Subscribe, like, and share this with your brothers and sisters. Talk to you later.